It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talk Flicks podcast. I'm your host, the Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this past week, I went back to the world of espionage. And I had a mission that was nearly impossible. And I'm going to get into that. But first, a couple things. I want to give a big shout out to Brighton, Michigan. Got some plays over in Brighton this past week. Gracias, gratitude, toda. And Brighton, I drove by your city many times on the way to Detroit. I think I've stopped in there like once. And if I remember correctly, beautiful city. I appreciate that I'm getting love in my home state. I seem to get more and more. Thank you very much, you Michiganders, Detroit Tigers fans, you Detroit Red Wings fans, Detroit Pistons fans, right? Michigan State fans, U of M fans, I appreciate you very much. So thanks for listening, guys. It's gratitude. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by the album called The International Experience with yours truly, the King Cortez, and my lady, Queen Cortez. Now let me tell you this though. This album consists of 4 tracks with 4 different languages. One of the tracks is a Portuguese track, a Spanish track, a French track, and an Arabic track. Me and my lady are doing music in those languages. I guarantee you, you've never heard anything like it in your life. So if you want to have an international experience, check out the album called The International Experience. Put the link below, check it out. Now, let's get on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said from the jump, I went back to the world of espionage and went on a nearly impossible mission. I saw Mission Impossible Dose 2. In preparation for the new movie that comes out at the end of the month, I am rewatching all the Mission Impossibles, binging, taking a ride down that path that Tom Cruise laid so nicely. I watched the first one a couple days ago, but I'm taking the journey just to see where this journey ends. If it ends, I hope it doesn't end because I love these movies. It's my favorite franchise of Tom Cruise. I love espionage. I just talk about it in this podcast all the time. I love the world. So let me get into the movie. So basically, Tom Cruise, aka Ethan Hunt, has to go on another impossible mission. But in this mission, they had to get access to some kind of biological weapon kind of thing. They had to get access and destroy to get a hold of it. In order to do that, he had to recruit this thief. So that's what I'm going to get into right now. There'll probably be spoilers as well. So in the show, Ethan Hunt has to recruit this lady thief to help him get access to the person that has this biological thing they're looking for. And so in order to do that, he has to recruit her. Now in this place, Ethan Hunt is basically the officer and she is the agent, and his job to recruit her. Now, if you don't know anything about spying, in the spy world, in the real life, there are these people called operation officers, and these officers go around trying to recruit agents to get information for America. Now, all the countries around the globe have some form of this where they have people that go out to other places and recruit people to get information from that space. It happens in corporations, it happens everywhere. Any place there's a place that have knowledge and secrets, there's people trying to get access to these secrets. Now, in this place in Mission Impossible 2, Ethan Hunt is basically an operations officer to bring her to the IMF to support the mission of trying to get access to these biological weapons. Okay. Now, in the process of him attempting to recruit her, he does have intimate relations and he does fall for it. Now, let me just say this. In all of the reading, all the studying, all the books, all the podcasts, all the movies, all the documentaries I've watched, I've come to believe, and this may or may not be true because, like I said, I'm no expert, but from all the stuff I've heard and read and looked into, it appears to be that you never, ever want to have intimate relations with your agent. So in this space here where Tom Cruise tried to recruit her, you would never want to have any kind of romantic relations with that individual. Now, I have read tons of spy books and it happens all the time. I've watched tons of movies and it happens. One of the common things that happens in spy movies and in books is that there's some romantic relations happening. It happens all the time. Like a lot of these stories are built on that. But in the real world, you're not supposed to do that. Now, I assume in the real world, it probably does happen, but not probably like it does on TV. In TV and books, it happens all the time. And most of the stuff I read, it usually happens in some form of action. It's crazy. You know, if I ever became one, I would know not to do that. But maybe in the field and when you're doing things, you spend time with people that you work with, you just develop feelings. Now, let me tell a little personal story about myself. I've been around a woman And I work with her. Never worked with a time with professional, but after talking to her over time, I came to appreciate her beauty. I came to appreciate her as a human being. Although we kind of work together, it developed into romantic relations. It's not an agent officer relationship, but it is kind of similar. You spend time with somebody professionally, and sometimes you just fall in love and enjoy her. And let me tell you what, this woman is my queen. The one that did that one, this happened to us. I just was working, talking, and all of a sudden slowly just started to be infatuated, and next thing you know, we're intimate. In my world, it's okay. There's no one telling us we cannot do that. I don't deal in international espionage, though. I don't deal with these things. I'm not in that kind of job or place. I'm just a podcaster. That's all I do. I do art. It doesn't matter to me. But in that world that Tom Cruise plays in, you're not supposed to do that. Now, further in the movie, as they're trying to achieve the goal of getting these biological weapons, the agent, the lady, is put into a position where she's in danger. And Tom Cruise is very emotional. It doesn't show, but he's got to be emotional. If you have feelings for a human being like that, you're going to feel more emotion if you don't. So he can't be as cold and calculated. He's more emotion in his choices. So in the space, in the movie, the choice he made, I feel were influenced because he had more emotion connected to this lady. And also, it may have inspired him to go harder. If you have emotions for the woman, maybe go harder, try harder to do different things you would because you have so much passion for this lady, right? Yeah, it was dope. So seeing them together romantically just inspired me. It was so powerful because it reminded me of my relationship with my woman and how powerful it is for me. Like I saw her on the screen and him on the screen. It reminded me of me and my lady. Like I was like, I have that. Now a lot of these movies, not just spy movies, but just in general, I see relationships like that I see like I know this feeling because I have this passion with my queen. Like we have it all the time. She's a beautiful woman, so I can feel what Tom Cruise and Ethan Hunt's feeling for that lady. It's just very powerful to see such romantic and loving individuals connecting on the screen. It's just so powerful to see that. But it is a no-no. You're not supposed to do that. And so I'm going to see the third one coming up, and we'll see what happens with that. And if I remember correctly, I think this relationship is not mentioned in the next movie. That's a spoiler, but I think it wasn't. I've saw these movies before. I'll kind of revisit them to kind of see what happens. But anyway, it's just cool to see that Ethan Hunt was able to save the day, get the biological weapon, and also still have his relationship with the person he recruited. But in the spy world, that's a no-no. Now, one additional thing I want to say about this movie as well. This movie was absolute madness. The action scenes were crazy over the top. But of course, because you know who directed the movie? John Woo, bro. If you know anything about John Woo, he had countless movies where he had all types of crazy action. He's known for this unique style of crazy action. And if you've seen him before, you know what I'm talking about. Well, they brought that to the Mission Impossible franchise. We had crazy action, gun fighting, motorcycles, there's all this action, things exploding. It was absolute madness. When they got like to the third act, whatever, and all the action's happening, I was like, this is absolute madness. It was so crazy. They were just going crazy, bro. It was absolute craziness. Enjoyable. And then one last thing I'll say about the movie. The look that Tom Cruise had, his outfit, I want that outfit. Like, I love that outfit. It's very Matrixy. The black jacket, the black shades, black shirt, black pants. He's driving the motorcycle. You see the coat flapping in the back. So dope. I wanted to be Tom Cruise. So I was like, bro, I want to be him. I want to be Ethan Hunt right now. That outfit is so dope. He's riding a motorcycle. He's got long flowing hair. I don't have long flowing hair. I have no hair. I was jealous of all that long flowing Tom Cruise hair. That Ethan Hunt had that long flowing hair. Where my hair at? But yeah, seeing him in that outfit, man, it was so dope. This movie is phenomenal. And then I'm going to do the third one probably tomorrow, the day after. I'm going to do a podcast about that. I'm going to go down memory lane with his Mission Impossibles and see the new one in the theater. And bro, I'm going to get the fancy popcorn bucket. I never do this, but for this, I'm going to get the fancy popcorn bucket. I'm going to the IMAX. I'm getting the premium seat. I'm getting the VIP. I don't care how much it costs because this to me is one of my favorite franchises of all time. And it may be the last one. So we doing it all. We're going to have the fancy big popcorn, pop food, whatever fancy seats, whatever they got, popcorn bucket. I don't care. We doing this. Me and my lady are going to. Yeah, lady, we're going to that, baby. We going to that. We're going to do that. It's coming into my kid not wait. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And will Ethan Hunt have a mission that actually is impossible? Maybe he finally has one he couldn't complete, but I doubt that because Ethan Hunt can overcome anything. So anyways, Mission Impossible 2, phenomenal. Mission Impossible 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever they got. Watch those next couple weeks. And the movie at the end of the month. And let's just see how this epic franchise concludes, if it concludes at all. So anyways, if you haven't seen Mission Impossible 2, I highly recommend you check it out. Great flick, very cool, lots of action. Tom Cruise being smooth Tom Cruise. Now Tom Cruise is such a smooth operator. So cool, doing his own stunts. What a cool guy. Maybe one day I'll meet him. But anyways, Mission Impossible is dope. And this concludes the podcast. And until next time, we'll see you. The act of discovering who we are will force us to accept that we can go further than we think. Palo Kulo. Till next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks.